Hello there, and welcome back to the Thames Tools channel. This channel is all about me nerding out about mostly software tools, both for work and for life. And today, we're gonna do the work portion of it. Specifically, the real title of this video is Thames Tools for Kick-Ass Team Meetings. I know, meetings, who the heck cares about that? Well, actually, a lot of people do. So in this video, I'm going to show you a really great setup that I have for our team meetings at Optimization, which is the business that I run. We are 12, soon to be 13 people, and it's remote first. There are some folks that I've never met. So there are some tools and tactics and strategies utilized here to not only run effective, efficient, pleasant, and just good meetings, but also use those meetings to build culture at the company little by little. First of all, I want to acknowledge that not all meetings are built the same. Not all meetings are universal. There's so many variables and so many opinions. Just to consider some of the variables, like when a meeting happens, what is the timing in the day? What is the duration? What is the energy and preparation requirements? What is the medium of the meeting? Is it a video? Is it audio? Is it on the phone? Is it a Slack huddle? Is it a Zoom meeting? Right? There's so many things to consider, but also like the individual participants' habits around meetings and their perceptions, and I guess their introversion and extroversion, as well as the purpose and overall the outcome, or rather the productivity of the meeting. So all of those things considered, and I think it's important to consider those factors if you are to have great meetings. Whether you're a manager or a leader, or whether you're a participant in those meetings, being aware of those factors, I think, and optimizing for those factors, I think, is a very advantageous position, a very advantageous point of view that will lead to you enjoying meetings. So, all those things considered, I think what I'll show you is quite a great setup that has been refined over time at our company. I'll show you a Notion page, which is where the primary point of running the agenda and running the meeting is. I'll talk about how it's styled a bit uniquely, and then I'll talk about the content. So let's switch to our laptop and dig in. All right. So here in front of you, you see our meeting agenda in Notion, and you might be super confused about the cover photo and the title right away. So let's get the styling out of the way. For at our company, we have a unique heuristic around naming conventions for meetings. So first of all, this is the fourth year of the company, so we are at season 4, and this is the fifth meeting of the year. So this is episode 5. And the reason these are seasons and episodes is because we've came up with this quirky, fun thing to title team meetings after film or television. So in this case, we're referencing Damien Chazelle's movie First Man. And the cover photo is from that film. And the reason we do this is because it's fun, ultimately. And we just sort of enjoy the act of connecting our current events at the company to some kind of film or TV, or if we just enjoyed it and want to share it with the team. So that's what I mean by culture building, a little by little, because I think this unifies us around appreciation for the medium film and TV. Beyond the cover photo, the title, we also have a few elements here, like the headings of the meetings. Ignore this, please, but the headings of the meetings are highlighted in green with an emoji, so it's obvious where is the heading. And then there is a pre-game video. I'll talk about it more in the content. There is the agenda, and there's action items section, and then there is references, which are references to other content in the workspace. Before we dig into the content, I just want to draw a fine point on this reference for titles. For example, these is all season 4 titles. As you can see, First Date, Inside Out, Judgment Day, Lost. These are all some kind of references to a company going on. And, if we look at season 3, we had 28 meetings in the third year of the company. And as you can see, all kinds of meetings. Any highlights? I want to say, I'm pretty sure I titled Homecoming because I love Spider-Man Homecoming and I love the Underdog song. I titled it because it feels like there's a parallel between Peter's path as a hero and our trajectory as a company. Huh? So Go figure. And there's a table explaining this. So that's funny. So I think this is a great transition into the content of it. One of the first agenda items that we start the meeting with is an explanation of why this particular film was referenced in here. So here, Skylar chose First Man because it's a reference to how our company is going to the moon. A very simple reference, but I love it. That's where the meeting opens with. We also, while everyone's trickle in, we play some kind of music. Sometimes it's a soundtrack from the film or TV, but in this case, it's just Pursuit of Happiness. Before the meeting, I record, or whoever the meeting lead is generally me, record a pregame. And that's a Loom video where what I do throughout the duration of that video, I can link it down below, is go through the agenda and just set expectations on what topics we're going to discuss, what kind of information should you prepare, and like what should you keep in mind, or maybe even a call to action to prepare for the meeting. Usually I send this a few hours before, but really I'm trying to get into a habit of sending the pregame at least 24 hours before, and I did get praise for that because people appreciate it. So then we have also two things in the we have a section called warm up, which is like, well, warming up and getting started with the meeting. So I talked about it, about the title. We have the on the last episode. So this essentially is a summary of the previous meetings. Our cadence is bi-weekly, so like 14 days or sometimes even more. It's a lot of time to have passed between meetings. So the point of this is to refresh everyone on what we discussed last time, and bring in the references and make sure that we all have followed up on any items from the past. Lastly, in the warm up section, we have the icebreaker. And the icebreaker is something that we used to do when we were a smaller team every meeting. However, we've adjusted it to have only the first meeting of the month, so only 12 icebreakers. We have an icebreaker here that is asking, what is something funny, quirky, amusing about one of your parents? And so, as you can see, I'm not going to go into the responses, but everyone on the team submits a response, and then we kind of bounce around sharing our fun fact. And what happens is, because it's written down, we capture essentially a running database of fun facts about our team. That's not only bit by bit culture building, but also bit by bit getting to know each other. And I think that opportunity is important in a remote team that doesn't get to bump into each other in the hallway or around the water cooler and share these fun facts and stories. So we got to create the environment for that to happen. So now moving on to the ramp up. In the past, our ramp up has been just individual agenda items, like, as you can see, the review of our April profit and loss statement, our discussion around mission, vision, and values, which is MVV. So these are hawk agenda items. And then we have recurring agenda items, which is the review of delivery of our all delivery projects, our sales review, which is our current sales pipeline, and our marketing review. You will also notice that each item, besides having a section, it also has a speaker identified, as well as the duration of the agenda item, and then a tick box to complete. And that checkbox is pretty helpful in keeping track of items that have and have not been discussed for the future. So I'll show you this item around mission, vision, value that really didn't get to. So on this page, what you see, a couple things. First of all, we have an AI block at the top, which can be triggered with a button press. And what it'll do is scan through the page and summarize the page using Notion AI. And then we have what do you want to discuss section, which, well, it's usually consists of bullet points around what I want to discuss. So here we have a link to a Slack message that I posted about the evolution of our mission, and then a few different endpoints around vision and values, and you see this links to another Notion document. And then what we have is this button called new comment, but what that enables to do is leave a visible comment when it's pressed. The presser of the button is identified, and it encourages to leave a comment. So the reason that we do it here is because it's a lot more visible and it's a lot more persistent than Zoom chat. Zoom chat, as you may know, just like in Slack or any instant messenger, the message just disappears. So it has a very low half-life, whereas these blocks here in Notion have a longer half-life, so have a longer chance of being resurfaced and action taken on them. So one example here, perhaps on the delivery review, there's a number of different comments that were added that then we wanted to tackle during the meeting. And as you can see, Some were tackled, most were tackled, some were not. There are a couple of sections that are not present on this meeting, specifically in the wrap up section. We have an open mic on the next episode, Taco Tuesday. Those sections, open mic speaks for itself. It's like if there's anything that we didn't cover, the floor is open. Have at it. Bring it up. Next episode also speaks for itself. Like here's items that we want to tackle in another 2 weeks or more. And then lastly, Taco Tuesday is like a thing to express gratitude through tacos. That is a topic for another video for sure. All right, so action items really speaks for itself. These are tasks that are captured during the meeting so that they are then immediately titled, ideally assigned, and then prioritized. A lot of the times the capture happens during the meeting, but then the assignment and priority happens afterwards. But it's really important to walk away from a meeting knowing exactly what are the next steps. One of those next steps is for people who, for any reason, could not attend the meeting, and we're perfectly okay with people not having to skip meetings for whatever reason. In this case, one of our teammates was sick, and so the task to follow up on here is to review the recording for the meeting. So one of the tools that we're using here is, in addition to Loom, Notion, is a tool called Grain. So Grain is a fantastic tool that essentially almost enabled a new medium for us when it comes to meetings. It's asynchronous review of meetings. So Grain joins your meeting, and as you can see here, it gives you an AI-based summary, key points, next steps, outlines speaker durations, and it gives you an ability to create clips. So, for example, if we want to capture the key point around me discussing our involvement of like design, you can just press this button and it will go to the meeting. It will make the highlight. It will create the highlight. A lot of the times you have to adjust the beginning points and end points of this highlight like such. But then once you have the highlight, you can give it a title. And what you couldn't do is copy the transcript as well as copy the link to that highlight and then embed it somewhere. So we do that frequently in our sales conversations. So Grain is a great tool for that. There's a lot more functionality, but this is the basics here. And we actually record all of our meetings at Grain. So this is a ginormous video library of almost every conversation that happened at our company that's worth recording, which is kind of crazy. So the last thing I want to leave you with is actually about the loom in the beginning. As you can see, I'm being quite silly here, but I think the loom, what it does and what I'm trying to establish and encourage at optimization is the idea of being unapologetically yourself. And that one way to do that, that's perhaps even more comfortable than in person, is do it on video like I'm doing now. And I think again, what that does is this helps people have a good time in working with you, in meeting with you, and also encouraging from a culture perspective or values perspective to also be unapologetically themselves. So I will cut it off here. I know this was a lot longer of a video, but please, 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 if you have thoughts, criticisms, or whatever, jot it down below in the comments and tell me, is this something you're vibing with? I will listen. I will respond. Feel free to reach out to me on X or Instagram. I am TEMNCO out there, and I just want to hear some feedback. But I will also keep going and keep nerding out about tools and sharing Tem's tools. Thanks. Bye. Over and out.